We're back.
We're
Back.
back.
Hey, we're back, whether you like it or not.
I love Skittles. Mm.
You
I got 2 boxes of Mike and Ike's.
Oh no.
do. Excuse me.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Yay.
Mm.
My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm also an amateur astronomer, just an amateur, and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts this evening, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton. Paul, good evening.
Good evening.
And Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Mike, how you
Hey,
doing?
everybody.
Hey, everybody. Okay, we'd also like to welcome all of you from YouTube and Facebook land here, and also all those who are joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you very much for your support.
And happy Father's Day, everybody.
And happy
Yes.
Father's Day to
Yes.
everybody. Yes, and to you guys as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, I've got a cold, so I'll be talking through my nose and coughing every once in a while, so excuse me. For those of you who, or those of us, I guess, who work Monday, I can't talk to these guys because they don't. For those of you who work Monday to Friday, Wednesdays is sometimes referred to as hump day. The day afternoon on Wednesday, or the day when afternoon on Wednesday, everything is downhill to the weekend. That day, for those of us who enjoy the night sky, is Thursday of this coming week, the summer solstice. That day provides about 7 hours more of daylight than on the winter solstice. Now, for astronomers, it's that ugly hump that we try to get over so that we can get back to observing dark skies again in the evenings. But that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy astronomy. You may just need to change your focus a little bit. So what can we do about observing when the skies are so bright? Well, tonight we're going to discuss that and give you some ideas, hopefully. Also tonight, Mike will bring back another binaural bud for another interesting binocular target week.
You got it.
Okay.
Same one as last year this time.
Don't say that. Paul will have another interesting Rosanna's fun fact to share with us tonight.
Indeed.
I'll provide another quick look at the week ahead along with all of your wonderful photo submissions. Also, I've got your entries in here for the contest for the book that I'm giving away tonight. This one here, the 2024 Night Sky Almanac by Nicole Morlero. So I've asked for some photos to share, and a lot of you did, and I'm going to give that book away tonight. So let's get started then with a discussion around daytime astronomy. Who wants to start?
It's short.
Well, you might as well, Chris. You can just kind of do yours
Yeah,
first.
Sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, let the host.
Yeah, let the host do it.
When it rains lemons, you make lemonade, right?
I guess so. Okay, excuse me for a second. I'll see if I can get started here. No matter to me. I'm gonna point out just a few things, more along the line of what the solstice is and that kind of thing. While we're doing this, I guess, from beginning. Okay, so I just need to share my screen. Share screen 4. All right.
There we are.
A little bit about daytime astronomy.
We're doctors.
Yeah.
We have a PhD in something.
In nothing. Yeah. Okay. A little bit about daytime astronomy. So we're talking about the summer solstice, of course, and the summer solstice marks the official start of astronomical summer and the longest day of the year. Longest day of the year. That's really kind of a misnomer. It's the day with the longest daylight of the year. It occurs when the Earth's poles, of course, are tilted toward the sun at its most extreme angle, and due to Earth's tilt, this happens twice a year. In the northern hemisphere, summer solstice falls in June, while the summer hemisphere experiences the winter solstice. In the southern hemisphere, it falls in December, while the northern hemisphere experiences the winter solstice. Now, just like the phases of the moon, the summer solstice doesn't last for the whole day, but is rather just a moment in time when the sun reaches its most northern point. How does that change for us? Here's a little chart from timeanddate.com that shows how much of a change we experience right around the time of the summer solstice. So here I got the sunrise and sunset. So we're looking at, what are we at today? We're at 16th. So tomorrow morning, Sun rises at 5:35. Rises at 5:35. That's early. And
Yep,
uh,
yep, yep.
yep, sets at 9:14. So we're adding an extra 16 seconds. You can see here that we added 25 seconds on the 15th, but we're down to 16 seconds by the 17th. Get down here to the 20th, which is Thursday. We're only adding 3 seconds to the day. And then by Friday, the day after the summer solstice, hooray, we start to lose a second of daylight right away.
Wow.
Then it's up to 5 seconds, then 10. By the end of the week, it's up to 23 seconds or so. So, but the good thing is that, we're warming up. That's not a good thing, I mean, but it's a good thing for the summer season. That as we warm up through the summer, the evenings get darker quicker. So it's perfect for us in August, September type time. That's what I like the best anyway, for enjoying night skies. So daytime astronomy, of course, with the recent amazing aurora, many of us are paying more attention to the sun and its current solar cycle. This is a little clip from Soho today. And if you take a few safety precautions, of course, it can be a fantastic daytime target to enjoy. Now, if you're going to use binocular projection, as with the recent eclipse, binoculars or a small telescope will allow you to view the sun and its sunspots through a projection method. So it's very simply cover one of your lenses and leave the other one open and point the sun through it. And you'll get an image of the sun on a piece of white paper. Best have it white if possible. And if that's setting in the shade, that's even better, so you get a nice view of the sun. And it'll show sunspots as well. Another way, of course, using, no, my notes are cut off. All right, two more methods of safe projection are demonstrated here. The first, using a telescope with a sun shield in white paper as a backdrop. And the second is even simpler, using a thick piece of cardboard. So you don't even need optical aid really at all. You can do it without, and we saw this through the eclipse as well, right? We were talking about how to visualize the eclipse by using just a piece of thick cardboard. A piece of thick cardboard or heavy paper with placing a tiny hole in the center after covering the center with a piece of aluminum foil. And that just helps to reflect the light away from it. The white piece of cardboard makes the best backdrop. Other methods are using proper fitting solar filters for your optics, of course. And all those special telescopes for viewing only the sun and hydrogen alpha are also excellent. So very simple process. It works very well. And the advantage with something like this is that you can share this view with everybody else. So if you have a large enough piece of paper, and it's far enough away, you can get everybody to have a stand around it and have a look. The perfect outreach. Of course, the moon in the daytime is another beautiful target. The moon is part of our daytime sky for about 2 weeks each month, so giving you lots of opportunities to enjoy its many wonderful features. Picking out these features can be a little bit more difficult with the lower levels of contrast between the moon and the background sky. So when the sky is really bright, it's a little more difficult to pick out all those features, but still nice to pick up the binoculars or the small telescope and point it at the moon. Now, we can also view planets through the daytime. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is possible. It is possible to observe a couple of the planets at least during the daytime as well. Venus is the third brightest object in our sky behind the sun and the moon, so it can be spotted if you know exactly where to look. Now, planetarium software programs like Stellarium, which is a freeware program, an excellent, powerful tool for anybody out there. It'll help a lot in finding a date when the moon can serve as a guide, really helps too. So the moon, of course, follows the ecliptic line roughly across the skies, and that's the same path that the planets take across the sky. So there are times when the moon is close to one of the planets, and if you know where the moon is and you know where you can find out when it's going to be in conjunction or close by one of the planets, and scan to the moon and then move yourself down to the planet if you're only using a manual scope or binoculars. The difficulty with viewing the moon, Venus right now, though, at the present time, is that it just emerged from behind the sun back on June the 4th. So it's very difficult a target to try at the moment, considering it's just a few degrees from the sun. But better opportunities are coming as it becomes our evening star. So down when we get into in late July now, it's still fairly low in the sky, but it'll be an easier opportunity to pick it out. From there, I'm going to go to daytime astronomy with Jupiter. That's another one. Perhaps a better planetary target right now would be Jupiter, the fourth brightest object in the sky. Now it rises at 4:27 and it sets at 19:21, but it also follows the sun at a more comfortably safe 21 degrees, or about 4 widths of your fist from the sun. So still, caution should be used, of course, when using any type of optics in the daytime sky. You can find it near the waning moon, though, early in the morning on July the 3rd. So you want to get up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning on July 3rd? That's not that bad. You'll have a nice, beautiful waning crescent moon with Jupiter and the Pleiades sitting right there as well. The Pleiades, the winter one. Go away.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want the reminder. Anyway, something else that I enjoy and I've seen a number of times. Paul, you and I have talked about this a number of times too. I think the belt of Venus.
Yes.
So the belt of Venus is that pink glow above the horizon. So some of the things I'm presenting here are things you can see just with your naked eye, of course, too. So belt of Venus is a pink glow above the horizon, right opposite of where the sun sets or rises. Now, this phenomenon takes place during twilight, thus before sunrise or after sunset, respectively. It is represented by a pink glow that surrounds, just like an arch, the horizon, opposite of where sunsets and sunrises occur. Now, after sunset or before sunrise, the sun is below the horizon relative to an observer on Earth. Now, in the figure, the observer's line of sight is represented by the thin gray line, and the sun is below this line of sight, thus below the observer's horizon. I need to get to my other screen here. The dotted circle around Earth represents our planet's atmosphere. But even though the sun is below the horizon, right after sunset, light rays from the sun still make it their way to get to the observer, and then even further with that red arrow till above the anti-solar point, wherein they get backscattered off of Earth's atmosphere. That pink arrow there in the picture. Now, this region where the backscattering takes place has a belt shape, and this belt is nothing but the anti-twilight arch, it's called. Anti-twilight. What will you see as an observer? Well, if you look right opposite where the sun is setting, you'll notice right after sunset a faint pinkish light stretching around the anti-solar point like a belt or an arch. As time passes, the pinkish glow will rise. Now, right underneath it, you'll see a darker belt, which is nothing else than the Earth's shadow. As time passes further, the pinkish glow will rise even more, as will our planet's shadow, until night will take over entirely, and it'll become pitch black outside. So it's kind of like the curtain dropping to open up the skies for the evening. Now, of course, too, you're getting up a little early to catch that morning sunrise or hang around for the evening sunset can also provide a beautiful start or into your day. No optical aids required at all, and it's completely free. So that's about all I get to say about that.
Yeah, that belt of Venus is so amazing to look at. I have a photographer friend who shoots a lot of 16:9 landscapes, and he always tries to catch the belt when he's doing his river scenes.
Right.
The images are just unbelievable.
Oh, the way the colors are definite, but they actually blend right all the way down through too. So
Yeah.
really enjoy
Yeah.
it. So for me, it's more visual. Like I'm out a lot looking at the sky in the daytime, and I'm not necessarily. I might have a pair of binoculars with me, but nothing else. If I see the moon up, I'll take a peek at the moon. I might not be trying for one of the planets, but I'm more into the sunrise, sunset type of shots too.
Yeah.
And the rainbow or something like that too is always, pretty cool to see. So there's lots out there to enjoy, even though, we're not into the evening skies right now. I'm going to lead right into which one of you want to start next.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Oh,
Mike,
okay.
bring us up to the type of
Mine's
topic.
kind of off the cuff here, but we'll give it a best shot. This is a little different. Where's my box here? Screen 2. Nope, I want screen 1. Sorry. Right, church. Yeah, wrong pew. All right. So I did this as a gearbox talk once, and it's something that you can do during the daytime. That's what I liked about it. Is when we go to star parties and events like that, where there's a lot of solar viewing. Some people have dedicated solar scopes, H alpha scopes, and some people just have white light filters. But I was one of these people that said, okay, I want to do something completely different. What can I do, to bring people over to where I am rather than just looking through solar scopes or white light filter scopes to look at the sun? And I was reading some articles, and I come across this thing called an itty bitty radio telescope that you can build yourself. And I thought, isn't that the coolest thing? How do I go about doing that? So I'm just going to quickly go through this itty bitty radio telescope that you can use for listening to the sun, or it's pretty cool. And you can actually have a little bit of fun with it at star parties and stuff like that, because it is different. And people go, oh, what's that? So what do you need? Well, you find an old satellite dish. There's lots of them laying around. The one I got, I just so happened to get out of the garbage. So it was absolutely free. And it's any satellite dish will do. And then what you want is the LMB that's attached to it, which is a low noise block converter. They all have them. It would be nice to get one with at least 2 connections. Most of them have multiple connections on it. I think it's rare to ever see one with only a single connection, but you want a minimum of 2 connections, and I'll show you a little bit later why you want that second connection. Of course, you want to, paint it up yourself and make it look fancy and stuff like that. So you grab a little paint, some lettering and stuff, and maybe the odd sticker sign or something like that. You're going to need a little bit of coaxial cable, which everybody has if you had a satellite dish anyway, coaxial laying around. And I went on eBay. No, this was Amazon. And I bought myself a satellite detector or finder, actually, because that's what you use if you have a satellite dish to detect where the satellites are in order to point your dish in the right direction. They range anywhere from, I think, $10 all the way up to fancy ones that can cost you $100, but I buy the cheap stuff. So I think I paid $10 for mine. You're going to need a power source, and since the satellite dishes were built to run on 18 volts, you need 18 volts. Well, that's easy to do with 2 9-volt batteries wired in series instead of parallel. So that'll give you 18 volts. So you make up your little 18-volt power supply, you connect that to the satellite detector, you connect the detector to the satellite dish, you point it at the sun, and guess what? You can start listening to what's going on the sun, which is actually pretty cool. And I'll show you how that actually works. This was just a quick schematic on. Some people said, well, how do I wire up the batteries in series instead of parallel? Well, you're going negative to positive, positive, negative, negative to positive, positive, back to negative on 2 9-volt batteries, and that'll give you 18 volts. So you want to connect your finder, or the satellite finder, to the battery pack. You want to plug that in with a piece of coaxial cable on the receiver side. On the satellite side, that's where you actually take coaxial cable and plug in your satellite dish. So the 18 volts actually powers the satellite dish and the digital finder. What I did was I took the long bar that comes out that your LMB sits on, and I added a Vixen mount to it, and I stuck them on an EQ5 mount, and now I can point it anywhere in the sky, and I can have it point at the sun, track and follow the sun. So that was just a simple drill 2 holes and bolt that on there. And now I can move my satellite dish around on an EQ5 mount. And there it is there. The mount is on the EQ5 mount, and it's following the sun. I stuck a magnet in the center, and if there's no shadow, then I'm pointing at the sun. If there's a shadow, then I'm not pointing at the sun. It acts like a sundial. And point it directly at the sun and listen to what's going on. So what happens? Well, you point the dish at the sun, and you'll watch that VU meter, or you'll watch the digital meter, or whatever you have, start to move up. And they all have a little tuning button that you can turn it down, and you want to tune it back down to about halfway, and then watch the needle. And if there's activity on the sun, like solar flares and things like that, you will actually watch that needle jump around, because it's literally watching the sun in radio waves. And then, of course, me being me, MacGyver, you want to go a step further. That second connection on the LMB, you're going to connect that to something called a software-defined radio, or an SDR dongle. These cost anywhere from $30 for the USB style to maybe $100 for a little bit better one. But all it is a software-defined radio. And then you can download the software for free, and it covers a very, very broad spectrum of radio signals. And that's what you're actually doing, is you're listening to radio signals from the sun. So you take that second LMB line off your satellite dish, you plug it into the little satellite or the SDR dongle, plug that into your laptop, and you're all ready to go. And what happens? Well, here's a shot that I got with the sun at 39.6 megahertz through the SDR dongle, and now it gives you a visual of what's going on with the sun. So if there's a solar flare or something like that, you might see a spike or a peak come up on your screen, or you can watch the changes in a waterfall as the sun is doing its thing. It's really actually pretty cool to do. And it works. because I've taken it to star parties and had it up there. And sure enough, I follow the sun with it. And I've actually, you can listen to Jupiter and other things with it as well. I found out. But this setup was mainly put together for me just to look at the sun during the daytime when everybody else is using solar scopes. So it's just another method that you can do other than white light or H alpha solar. Excuse me. Solar viewing. I'm going to lose a lung here. And that's all I have to say about that.
Awesome, Mike.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you call it? You call it the itty bitty
radio telescope.
Radio telescope. IBTRT.
IBRT.
Yeah, I remember all of us just sitting around with under cloudy skies, and then Mike sitting there busy doing things.
Yeah. If the sun's up, you can point it towards the sun. Nobody can see it, but you can listen to it.
Absolutely. Somebody mentioned here, will there be a link for written instructions? Is that on your is that on the St. John Astronomy Club?
If it's
site?
not, it will be up before the week is out on the St. John Astronomy Club site.
There you go. So it's sjastronomy.ca. Go there before the end of the week or by the end of the week, and Mike will have it up there as a link. So,
There you go.
awesome. Thank you.
That's just a fun little project that you can do. Like I say, costs virtually nothing. It's just kind of fun.
Dances, does it go snap, crackle, and pop?
It does. Turn the speaker up, you'll hear different sounds through the static. Yes.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Thank you, sir. And we'll move on then with Paul. Paul's got to talk for.
All right. Let me get my thing here opened up first, and then I'll be able to do my yakety yak. Don't talk back. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to talk about is just a little bit of fun you can do. As most people know, I like to take pictures of many things besides astronomical things. But in the daytime, up until a few years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, it's summer. I can't wait for fall because I can't do any astro. And then I started to do a little bit of solar observing, and then solar imaging, and then moon observing, and that. And you go and you invest in all this crazy stuff, and then most of the time it's the simple things that you get more enjoyment out of. So that's kind of what I want to show here tonight. Actually, what I did today, I put this together this afternoon so I could show it tonight, just to show you how simple and easy it is to have some fun. So the only things you're going to have to get, if you have a DSLR camera, and this is what I shot primarily everything with, except for one picture I'll show you, but everything else was just through one of these. Most people have one kicking around the house. And so all you're going to need is just, you're going to need a connector that'll go and hook onto your camera. This is proprietary to your camera. So if it's a Canon camera, you'll need a Canon connector. If it's a Nikon, you'll need a Nikon, and so on. And basically what that is, it's just a little, we call them T-rings. Whoop, where's it go? Right there. And basically there's one side, which is a bayonet that just snaps in where your lens does, and the other side are threads. And then you take your, what they call photo adapter or nose piece, and it's going to have some threads on it. So all you're going to do is just screw those two things together, pop off that little cap, and now everything that your telescope sees is going to go right through that hole, right onto the sensor of the camera. It's really that simple. Really, really easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. So I'll share my screen now and show you what I did today. So where we go? Let me know when you see the screen.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So basically, I have this little telescope I use for doing outreach, or when we do our star parties. And this is just a little Evolution 6-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope. It's pretty much the same as a 6SE, except it's got a few more fancy doodads on it, but it does pretty much the same thing. It's a little alt-as single arm mount that you can go and just have some fun with. So it's really simple to use, and that's what I did today. So do I have to worry about polar alignment? No, I don't. All I have to do is just set it up, make sure that it's level, and on the hand control, you can just do what they call the solar system alignment. So it's either going to ask you, what do you want to see? One of the planets, do you want to see the sun or the moon? Whichever one's up, say that's the one I want to see. Then it says point your telescope to it, You point your telescope to it, you set the tracking for the rate of whatever it is that you're looking at, game over. You're all set. Now you're ready to have some fun. So that was the first thing I do, is to set that up. Second thing you do is you take your DSLR camera, just like I was telling you a second ago, and you put that nose piece on with that T adapter, and put that on the front of your camera and slide your camera in the back of your telescope. Most cameras today have a screen on the back where you can actually monitor, because you're going to have to monitor what it is that you're trying to find, because you have to line it up first, and then you got to get it into focus. I won't get into all that because that's pretty straightforward stuff. But anyway, some of these cameras that we have these articulating screens, which means you can twist them all around. So if the sun is really high, which it was when I did the sun today, the cameras, you'd almost have to lay in the ground to see it. So this articulating screen, you can twist it so you can actually still stand up and see what's going on with your camera and telescope combination. And you just take your hand controller, of course, and then just like I said, with this particular Celestron mount, it allows you to set up this so you can do the sun or the moon or whatever it is you want to do. So you just basically punch it in like you would any other target, and go ahead and have it and go find it. But before you do, if you're doing the sun, make sure that your solar filter is on first, because you don't want anything burning up. So it's always in good order to make sure you've got the correct solar filter. You'll notice on mine, I'll make that a little bit bigger. Right down here, it says photographing, right? So, or photographic rather. And so this particular filter is for photographing only. I can't look at my telescope and observe with that kind of paper. If I did, I would have to use the one that would look identical to this, but it'll say visual. You can image through a visual filter and observe and be safe, but you can only photograph through a photographic filter, but you cannot use it for visual. So make sure when you buy a filter, especially if you're doing simple things like this, just get the visual one and you'll get really, really good images. It'll work just fine. So that's what you want to do. And then make sure too that if you're doing the sun, if you have an optical finder scope, either take it off or make sure that the cap is on the front of it, because you don't want anything coming out the back of that, because it'll be just like, remember how we used to fry ants? That's what it'll do to you too. So just make sure that's covered. Anyway, so you got that done, you pointed at the sun, and this is what I did today. So the sun was quite active today, so quite simple. This is just one picture. This is not a stack of anything. This is not the best, 20% of my 1,000 pictures. This is simple. This is one photograph from the sun. I did a burst of 10 pictures, and out of the 10 pictures, I picked the best one that was the sharpest. That happened to be this one, and the sun was super, super active today, so there's all kinds of really cool data to look at. You can look at granulation. You can look at some of these really small sunspots. Of course, some of these larger, more active regions that are around the sun, more granulation. Just takes a little bit of, in Photoshop, just a few adjustments, and you can really pretty up a picture. I shot this in color. Typically, it'll look gray when you get it, but you can turn it to whatever color you want. Most people turn it to a yellow so that it looks like what we deem the sun to be in yellow. So that's a lot of fun. And then on top of that, if you want to get a little more scientific and get a little bit more knowledge that, this is cool, I got a nice sharp picture, yay. But what am I really looking at? Well, you can go ahead and go online. There's a lot of sites that will tell you what it is that you're looking at today. So I did that, and I put all the sunspot nomenclature of all the different sunspots that were on there today. So this is the sun, June 16th, and this was at 3:30 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. And let me see if I can find it down here. There we go. So sunspot activity captured with the Canon 6D Mark II, a Celestron 6-inch SCT prime focus, which means I just had the camera stuck in the back of the telescope. 1/2500th of a second exposure, ISO 100, and it was mounted on an Alt-ASI mount. So you can do some pretty cool stuff just with basically a telescope and a DSLR camera, and of course the right filter when you're doing the sun. Now, also this time of the phase of the moon's out, the moon is also in the sky. That little white dot right there, that's our daytime moon. Well, sure enough, I said, you know what? While my stuff is set up, why not take a picture of the moon too? and you can get it in a nice daytime environment. And like Chris said earlier, there is less contrast on the moon, but when you set up your camera, you get it set up properly, and then throw it into your software. You can go ahead and make it a little more contrasty, so you can actually see some features. So here's the result of my daytime moon. And there's all kinds of features on that. You can see all kinds of stuff on that moon. And yet, again, just a single photograph, not a stack of anything. And look at all the beautiful details that you can see. And I still have time to go have my barbecue and whatnot for the rest of the day. And if I don't want to stay up really, really late, well, you know what? I've had my astronomy fix for the day. Now, if you want to do something a little bit more technical than that, you can actually use, and this is actually shot with an astronomy camera, and it's shot with a red filter only over a monochromatic camera. And I shot this in the middle of the day, and you can get some absolutely wonderful detail, just as good as it is at night when you're using a filter. And in this one here, I did stack a bunch of pictures. I think I had 300 or 400 pictures, and I took the best 30% of them and I stacked it up, and by golly, by gee, look at that, eh? I mean, you could study that. You can go get your moon guide out. You can study all the different craters that are on it. Oh, what's this crater? What's that Mare? What's this? Where's that? What's this Messier 1 and 2? What's that all about? Anyway, you can learn all kinds of very cool things. And by using a red filter, you can actually take and get more detail in those areas that are usually hot spotted out with white spots. So the red filter really, really helps with that. So that was on June the 12th, 2024. And to get artistic with something, it was the same day. I was shooting that moon and the clouds come in. But because it was in my telescope and everything was magnified, the clouds looked glorious. So I said, you know what? This is like a happy mistake. Look at that. Most people are frowning when the clouds come in. I thought, no, you know what? This is wonderful. I'm going to take me a picture of that, and I think I'm going to have me a pretty neat shot. So sure enough, there it is. So that is pretty much my GAC on daytime astronomy. So you can do just as much stuff in the daytime as you can at night for the most part. You just got to be a little creative. That's all.
That's all it takes. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Sun and moon and sky at the same time. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah.
And daytime astronomy is
Winston
something that we
says,
have.
what's wrong with stacking? You know what, Winston? Absolutely nothing. But you know how much time it takes me to do one picture and how many times I have to stack it? 0 time. There's my picture. Now I can work with it. So that's the only reason. It's just simple. If you can focus, if you know how to set your camera up so you get the right speed, so you're not going to get motion blur and all that other foolish stuff. You know, most of my moon images are not stacked. They're just single images. And, you know, there you go. So, I mean, by all means, stack if you want to. But I don't find that, you know, unless I'm getting a really, really long length telescope with going to give me great resolution, there I might dig a little deeper. But just for a little 6-inch SCT, take a quick shot, put the picture up. Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, true enough. All right. Well, I mean, there's some ideas that we do, I guess, to get us through until Star Party season, which is coming.
Yeah.
You know, and again, as we start to lose time after Thursday, you know, we lose a couple of seconds on Friday and then right through. It's like trouble. For me, it's great because the temperature's warming up. The evenings are usually nice. You know, I love August, like end of August versus September. Even the end of September is nice because our climate tends to dry out. Maybe, you know, I mean, I know it's hurricane season too, but it might not be dry during hurricane season. But normally, it's. I mean, of course, we've had, you know, I say dry out, but we've had all of our star parties washed out last year, and our first one this year got washed out. Anyway, I do like the fact when we get into August and it's warmer evenings. You know, the bugs are there, but you deal with them. But the darkness is coming on a little bit earlier, so you've got an opportunity. People are out; they're out and about. It's a great time for outreach too, because people are out and they want to see things. So yeah, I mean, until that time comes, we have to be able to occupy our time here. Another thing is, you know, just taking images that you might have taken last winter, like Paul mentioned there, and taking a look around the moon and being prepared for when people ask you questions about what's that I'm looking at, that kind of thing. So So yeah, there are opportunities out there, so don't get depressed. Eat like we used to.
Build yourself an IBT or RT.
24/7. Okay, let's go from there then to Bino Bud.
Vinyl. Okay,
How's that?
vinyl. Where's my share screen? This one. Alrighty. Binocular target of the week. This week by Bino Bud is the infamous M13. Where do you want us to go? Yeah, baby. So M13, also designated NGC 6205, is sometimes called the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules, or the Great Hercules Cluster. It's a globular cluster of several 100,000 stars in the constellation of Hercules. And although telescopes with great light gathering capability fully resolve the stars of the cluster, M13 may be visible to the naked eye if you're in dark sky, depending on the circumstances, but it's very visible in binoculars, actually. So how would I find it in the sky? Well, because we're coming close to the summer solstice, it doesn't get dark till late. Even at 2300, if you look to the west, you still got a little bit of glow. But at 2300, orient yourself at 110 degrees east-southeast, look straight up, and you will find what I call the keystone of Hercules. And on the side away from Vega, then you come about 2/3 of the way down and you'll find it right in that area right there. A little closer look, again, there's that keystone. It stands out in darker skies. You can spot that pretty easy. And again, if you can see the bright star Vega, go to the opposite side and about 2/3 of the way down from one direction or 1/3 of the way down from the other, and you will find M13 right in the center there. What does it look like? Well, it's not going to look like this in a telescope for you, but you are going to see a cotton ball with a bright star on each side. And it looks pretty cool. In 10 by 50s, that's it right there. You got the cotton ball in the center and a bright star on each side. It kind of makes a little triangle. It's pretty easy to spot. You'll know when you're on it. Compared to the full moon, well, from bright star to bright star, it's at least the width of the full moon. So it's actually a pretty big target when you think about it. And are you ready for this one? What do you get if you cross a Sith Lord with an elephant? An elevator.
Oh, no.
That's Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud.
Scraping the bottom of the
man.
barrel there, Mike.
What's that?
Pretty close to scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
I tell you, there's only so many painful puns out there, but I will find them.
I'm sure
Oh.
you'll rely on you there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. How about we're getting into we're 20 minutes left now. So how about Rosanna's fun fact? Are we ready for that
Yeah, we
next?
can do that, sure. All right. Let me get my,
Yay.
see if I can pull this off.
I keep muting my mic here so I can cough.
There we go. And this is this week.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, welcome back, Rosanna, for another absolutely wonderful fun fact. And as timely as usual, and certainly as interesting as usual. So let's get right into it. So Rosanna writes, good morning, Paul. Here is fun fact number 23. So she says, hi, Paul. What is a great discovery? Forbes magazine, just a second, let me just get that other picture up because there is a photo that goes along. There we go. Forbes magazine describes it thus with a quote from Claude Bernard, known as the founder of modern medicine. A great discovery is a fact whose appearance in science gives rise to shining ideas whose light dispels many obscurities and shows us new paths. Eureka! They discovered the $2,000 aspirin. There are never-ending great discoveries in astronomy, and it would seem that almost every culture in history was perhaps ahead of its own time in regards to scientific developments to do with the heavens. So let's jump in our time travel machine and go on a great discovery journey. So in honor of International Indigenous Peoples Day on the 21st, we will start our journey in Majorville, Alberta, 4,500 to 5,000 years ago, at what may be the oldest known medicine wheel. Now, medicine wheels serve many purposes, often religious and ceremonial, but the wheels also accurately predicted the summer solstice. In Wyoming, at Bighorn Medicine Wheel. Now, archaeoastronomer Jack Eddy discovered that the arrangement of the cairns and the spokes hold special celestial significance. I'm just going to pop those up so you can see that. Eddy suggests that when the wheel was built by Plains tribes between 300 and 800 years ago, it served to predict the positions of the sun and other bright stars in the sky around the summer solstice. When sitting in one cairn and looking toward another, the observer's vision is drawn to a specific point on the horizon. Eddy found that 2 points determined by different cairn alignments corresponded to the places in the sky where the sun rose and the set on the summer solstice and the longest day of the year. Furthermore, other lines of sight created by the cairn combination marked helical risings of bright stars, Aldebaran, Rigel, and Sirius. Roll that up. Now, a helical rising is an important event because it pinpoints an exact calendar date. This event occurs when a star first reappears at dawn after it has been washed out by the sun's light for an entire season. At Bighorn, for instance, Aldebaran's helical rising occurs just a few days before the solstice. Rigel then rises at dawn 28 days, or 1 lunar month, after Aldebaran, and Sirius rises another 28 days after Rigel. It is known that the number 28 is sacred among some tribes because of its association with the lunar cycle. There are 28 spokes in a medicine wheel, as well as in the roofs of some ceremonial buildings. Whether or not the builders of the wheel at Bighorn were aware of the 28-day intervals between the helical risings mentioned above is not certain, but seems very likely. Now we are off to Mexico, to the Mayan city of Chichen Itza, where the El Caracol Observatory stands as a monument to the architectural skill of the ancient Maya civilization, as well as the indicator of the Mayan people's interest in astronomy. El Caracol, which translates to spiral shape, or more literally, snail, is named after the winding staircase that rounds the interior of the central tower. El Caracol's crumbling view of the tower rises above the lush jungle, so ancient astronomers could have viewed the stars in 360 degrees, tracking solstices, equinoxes, and eclipses. An amazing extra in the alignment of the remaining viewing window, they seem to be designed specifically to track the appearance and disappearance of Venus in the night sky. In addition to assigning the second planet some religious significance, the Mayans were able to track the movements of Venus and thus measure longer intervals in the Earth's orbit. Now heading out to Greece, it was discovered that for over 2,000 years, a shipwreck laid off the coast of Greek islands of Antikythera. Its hidden treasures slowly corroded by the Mediterranean. It wasn't until 1900 that the sponge divers happened upon the loot and found therein a perplexing device of remarkable engineering, though the divers had no idea how truly remarkable it was at the time. The device sat in a museum for 50 years before historians began to take a serious look at it. Known as the Antikythera mechanism and called a clockwork computer, the small bronze instrument is unique because it precedes any machine of comparable complexity by more than a millennium. The mechanism was built circa 200 BC, and with over 30 gears hidden behind its dials, it is easily the most advanced technological artifact of the pre-Christian period. Regarded as the first known analog computer, the mechanism can make precise calculations based on astronomical and mathematical principles developed by the ancient Greeks. Although its builder's identity and what it was doing aboard a ship remain mysteries, most consider it very unlikely that the Antikythera mechanism was a navigational tool. The harsh environment at sea would have presented a danger to the instrument's delicate gears, and features such as eclipse prediction are unnecessary for navigation. The mechanism's small size, however, does suggest it was designed with portability in mind. Now, according to some researchers, a more plausible story is that the mechanism was used to teach astronomy to those with little knowledge on the subject. To use the instrument, you would simply enter a date using a crank. While the gears stopped spinning, a wealth of information appeared at your fingertips. The position of the sun, the moon, planets, and stars, the lunar phase, the dates of upcoming solar eclipses, the speed of the moon through the sky, and even the dates of Olympic Games. Perhaps most impressively, the mechanism's calendar dial could compensate for extra quarter day in astronomical year by turning the scale back one day for every 4 years. And for people like Mike or my brothers on inconstructible.com, there are complete instructions called Hacking and Antikythera to create your own working model. And I want this. So that's it. So for those of us who perhaps are a little daunted by the task of creating a working Antikythera model, there is a wonderful aurora hat one can knit with the colors following the auroral altitudes. Winter will come back, so better start on one now. So the red aurora, row 50, ISS, row 42, Steve, row 24, and so on. It's really quite a hat. So who knows where we will astro travel to next time. It could be cold there. I forgot my aurora toque. And that's this week's
Rosanna's Fun.
Hey.
Oh, and before I thank Rosanna again for another wonderful fun fact, I want to share something that we've been talking about, and it's about Rosanna. And just give me 1 second till I make it so that I can actually show this properly. There we go. Rosanna has a YouTube channel, and I hope she doesn't mind us sharing it. I'm assuming that she wouldn't mind at all. And I'm going to just share what that is, and I'm just going to share my screen for a moment. And it's called Rosanna's Fun Fact. And all the fun facts that I read on here, she also has on her YouTube channel. And so this one that I'm showing you here as an example is Canadian Space Travel News. We make great stuff. And of course, it's Rosanna actually narrating all of it. And her wonderful photo is there. And so just look up Rosanna's Fun Facts. And it's and you can also check out, it's under Rosartsky Studio. So make sure you go check out Rosanna on YouTube and listen to her great fun facts, because it's nice coming directly from the author of these fun facts. So we wanted to point that out for Rosanna, because we really, really appreciate her, and we want people to know what she does for us.
Absolutely. Yep. Good stuff. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Rosanna, yeah. Antikythera. I've heard about that being on that ship, and they were really curious about where it came from and what happened to it, how it existed. But I mean, that far back, 200 BC, with that much knowledge.
But the technology and the capabilities of what they were able to measure with that is so far beyond its time. It's just unbelievable. Like, how could they even have such things developed that far back? When you think they would have had to have been machined, it would have had to have been a lot of things learned to make the machines work to begin with, so they could measure these things. And
it's unbelievable. Yeah. More than I could do. I can punch a calculator, but
give me an abacus. I'm good.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rosanna, for that interesting topic. And we're going to go from there because we're getting into late time now, twice. But in a second, their photos. Maybe next. with photos.
Hmm.
Bring it over the right screen here. See if that brings it up. I think it does. Okay, give me a second. I'll just share my screen because we've got a number of photos here to share tonight. As I had mentioned earlier, I did have a number of photos to share because I had a contest going on to share some photos. Anyway, I've got some names in here in a bowl. We'll draw for the prize here soon. Okay, so tonight we're going to start with David Hoskins. His capture here of Omicron Cygni. What a pretty little triplet is there.
Is that a binary?
It's a triplet, actually, I guess. But it's a
Oh.
very attractive trio because of their contrasting colors, the orange, blue, and white. The three stars can be resolved in binoculars if held steady or on a tripod, and through the smallest of telescopes. The stars are apparently not physically close together, but simply in the same line of sight. But this does not detract from the beauty of these colorful stars in the Milky Way background. Yeah, really nice.
No, they're awesome. Yeah, beautiful.
Like that. I'm going to go from there to his capture of NGC 6939, which is an open cluster of stars, approximately 5,000 light years away in the constellation of Cepheus. So well done.
Well
Very
done.
nice. Very nice.
Color. All kinds of colors. Stars aren't all white for sure. And then he's give us a capture of the moon here. I believe it's like first quarter. So
Here's a day moon.
There you go.
it's a day moon.
There you go.
So that's good, David. Oh, we need to get one more here to share. Sent this one in late today. Excuse me. Just give me 1 second here.
That was taken today by the looks of it.
Good night, guys. Yeah.
Sorry there. Okay. Yeah, so the Earth facing sunspot group 3712, which is really it's not 3664, but it looks almost like that 3664. It's growing quite a lot, large amount in size. It was only about the size of one Earth when it had come around the corner there. Now it's about the size of 15 or 20 years. So who knows? I mean, this one's about to face us now, or is facing us now, and it does have a beta, gamma, delta atmosphere, I'll call it, or magnetic field that can produce X-class solar flares. So we'll see what happens. It's producing some C's, which are lower class, and M's, middle class, for the last few days, but nothing really active yet. So we'll keep a close eye on this one. But thanks for that as well,
Very nice.
David. Yep. I'll go from there to Chris Benoit's capture here of the moon. Got this moon shot, he said, last June 13th from my bedroom window. Camera lens was directly against the glass for stability. And Nikon camera against the glass, yeah. Not bad. Nikon 3200.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to get into some of the photos that were sent into my page because I had asked for, what have you got a favorite photo that you enjoy? Sunset, sunrise, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. So here's a nice one from Mary Verney. And then I've got another one here from Catherine Laura. I don't know if it's Catherine Laura or Laura Catherine, but still a nice shot. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Mara Pez, she said, this is still my favorite after a couple of months right before totality. A big cloud passed. And
Oh,
was
beautiful.
in that moment. Yep.
It looks like it's steaming, doesn't it?
That's, yeah. Amazing. Nicely done, Tamara.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll go from there to Don McBurney's capture here. She said, this is an old one, 2016. When I first bought my P900 camera, she said, I was excited to be able to zoom in for this shot of Jupiter and a few of its moons with the camera. Not bad, eh?
Yes, sir.
Galileans there, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Michelle Britton sent this one in. She said, me on a paddleboard, on the stand-up paddleboard, captured by Mike Sherwood with a drone, October 2023 on the Belle Isle Bay. Such a beautiful night to enjoy right outdoors, she says.
Look how calm the water was.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Really nice. Audrey Sonoikis sent this one in. She said, it was so hard to pick a favorite photo when you live in the Bay and have a different one every night. A sunset in Mesa's Bay, she said. So really cute. Really nice.
Very nice.
And there's another one she sent in from June the 10th. So great views down there for sure.
I love the coast, eh?
Yeah. Thanks, Audrey. Trudy Allman's capture of the star trails.
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
That's one of her favorites. Chris Morton sent this one in French Village on September 23rd, 2023. Said, looks like a pizza pop. Okay. Thanks, Chris. From there, I'm gonna go to Becky Sophie's capture.
That's
Nice
really nice.
clouds. And
Beautiful.
Kathy, still a favorite of mine, she says. Yeah, it's still a favorite of everybody's, I'm sure. Thanks, Kathy. Jennifer Day LG sent this one in. Said, I took this a couple of days ago, inspired by something similar Paul posted recently. So there you go, Paul.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Well done, Jennifer. And here's her two captures too with her sea star of the western and eastern veil. She sent in late today, so
There's
nicely done.
lots of nebulosity there, eh?
Lots of it, yeah.
Nice.
Well done. I see you're enjoying that, so good for you. Sharon Wilder sent this one in. Moon setting, West St. John, she said.
Oh, you know where that is, Chris?
That's cool.
See the church there? Yeah,
It's right off Manawaganus Road.
it is, yeah. Nice shot.
Beautiful.
Well done. Amy Price's shot, Sunset, Indian Mountain, she said, just a couple of days ago. There you go.
That's gorgeous.
Gorgeous picture.
No, why aren't the animals turned around looking at that? I mean, come on.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Nicely done. And this one came in from Bonnie Bust in Kennebecasis River last week, she said. Wow, good shot. Well framed.
Very
Nice,
nice.
Bonnie.
Sunsets are impressive.
This is from Lisa Ann Fanning. Lisa's on here, sunrise from Cape May, New Jersey. She said from Cape May, New Jersey ferry.
Wow.
Wow, beautiful.
Oh, nice lighthouse,
Crazy
eh?
colors, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, crazy colors. Thanks, Lisa. Kathy Shaw sent this one in. This one almost looks like redhead. Not quite sure.
Well, that's the pulp mill on the west side, isn't it? Or the,
Yeah, I would think so.
oh, there's the two cranes over there.
Over here, yeah. Yeah, so maybe it is redhead.
Nice. I've never seen
Yeah,
that
drove
perspective
over.
before.
No,
That's pretty awesome.
thanks, Kathy. Stephanie Matchett sent this one in. Nicely done.
Beautiful.
Hey, Stephanie. Terry Simon. The colors there, eh? Yeah.
Crazy colors.
And Sherry Bartlett, Sunrise and Loch Lomond Reservoir. Out the res, yeah.
Yeah.
St. John.
Wow.
And Roxanne LeBlanc, Sunset from Shelton PEI.
Wow, eh?
Awesome.
Beautiful.
He's a Rayworth here from, this is his recent sunset in West Hants, Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. Jeff Pendlebury, Sunrise at Trackety Beach, PEI, Friday, June 14th.
Wow.
Crazy.
Nice shot.
Yeah, really nice. Melanie Roy's capture. Awesome.
Beautiful shots.
Oh, unbelievable.
And Robert Gadet's capture, the head of Aquila, Bernard's E, and coat hanger, one of my favorites, taken with a Canon T7i, Canon Nifty 50 lens at ISO 800, f2.3, Skywatcher Star Adventure Pro tracking mount from Penfield.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
are.
there's a coat hanger.
Very nice.
Yes, sir. Can't mess a go dagger.
Oh, that looks, yeah, the coat hanger just stands right out. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Nicely done, Rob. This one comes from Barbara Bavard, Moonrise near Fundy National Park. There you go. Hope to see you soon down there.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine Adet sent this one in. Beatles, look at that.
We are fortunate to have skies like that.
We are. Yeah. And this
Yeah,
one from, let me see now, is this Juanita's? Yeah, no, so Steve Watson.
That's cool.
I'm gonna go back one here. Was that Jasmine's? Yes, it is. Okay. And Steve Watson, sunset over Harvey Lake. He said last summer when forest fire smoke was
Say, it
in the
looks
air.
like the smoke. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you got why it ended up pink. That's awesome.
Yeah. Juanita McCackern, 2 years ago, my friend rode back to get her phone. I ran out in the field with her. If you zoom in, you'll see you see her on one of her favorite horses. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
did she
right.
get the phone?
Yeah, that's it. Who cares? Who cares? You're riding the horse. You don't need a phone.
Under the
Thank
hook, you hear crunch. Uh-oh.
Thanks, Anita. And look at this
Oh,
one.
wow.
Lisa Richard,
Wow.
chasing a rainbow at sunset, she said, at St. Martin's.
You chased it all right.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
awesome.
Wow, eh?
today. St. Martin's, I mean, it's got some beautiful spots down there for
Mm.
captures for sure. I miss it down there.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, everyone. And if you have any photos you'd like to share, send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to put them up on our next broadcast.
Yes, sir. By the way, anyone wants that itty bitty radio telescope PDF file, it is now on the St. John Astronomy Club website. Scroll down the page to member contributions, and it's up there.
Okay.
So it's now loaded.
Awesome. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to do this quick draw, which I have the names in here of the people who had entered their photos for me.
Have a pen, we can draw.
What I'm giving away again is this book. Is this book called the 2024 Night Sky Almanac from Nicole Mortellaro. And it's an excellent book. It's got nice star charts in it, month by month, a guide to the North American skies, picks out the phases of the moon, all kinds of really nice, cool stuff too. And it's just the right size too, like good to take out.
And she puts one out every year too, eh?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. Yeah, I've got all of them, I think, so far. Anyway, this is the 2024, so you still got, I mean, the sky isn't going to change that much throughout the year, but you're current with this one for sure.
Yeah.
2024 Night Sky Almanac. Whoever wins, I'll be in touch with them right after the program here. So let's take a look at my jar. Pull out a name. Get going here quick.
Shake a pudding. Shake a pudding.
Who's the winner this week? Jasmine Odette.
Jasmine.
Yay.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Jasmine, congratulations.
Touch after the show, Jasmine, and we'll get this book to you. Awesome. Okay. So give me a second here. I think we're almost ready to sign out. Almost ready. I can do this first. There. Okay. Okay. So that's our show for this evening. I need my notes. I probably should be able to say this off by heart by now, but I'm going to read them anyway. So, so that is our show for this evening. I hope you enjoyed the program tonight. And a special thanks goes out to Rosanna, of course, for once again for a fabulous fun fact segment. Thank you, Rosanna. And find her at Rose Art Sky or Rose Art Ski Studio, right?
Yep. Check her out on YouTube.
Yep. And to all of you who share the program for us, thank you all. Remember, too, we do love getting your photos, so send them in to astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to put them on our next broadcast. Special thanks to our friends out there at Rogers for joining us again this evening. So until next week, everybody, wishing you all clear skies. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Hey, everybody.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.